2, 1, action.
Good day to the UN system in Zambia, the UN country team, the government of Zambia and people of Zambia, Mindolo Ecumenical Foundation, the Copperbelt University, and all those who have been actively engaged and involved with the Dark Hammarskjöld initiative over time, the diplomatic community, the international community as well. I am here at the UNDP Ghana, who are facilitating this video broadcast to the colleagues in Zambia, for which I want to express appreciation to the resident representative Dominique Sam and his team here. It is for me a singular pleasure to have been requested by my colleagues in Zambia to participate and send a message for this year's observation of the living memorial of Dag Hammarskjöld by the UN country team, government and people of Zambia. This request was made to me in August as I was in Zambia for the launch of the book by the daughter of Willa Mugumba on the legacy of the former president of the African Development Bank. It is not often that one has the opportunity to return some 15 plus years later to see an initiative that one played a major role as part of the UN country team in putting in place in concert with key partners. Partners such as Mindolo Ecumenical Foundation, Copperbelt University, and the government and people of Zambia, UN country team. It is also very timely that the theme for this year's commemoration of the Dag Hammarskjöld Memorial Observation Program is, in fact, one which talks about together for peace, respect, safety, and dignity for all, a theme that rings true in every sense of the word today. Indeed, it is amazing that the elements of the Living Memorial Initiative, the Dag Hammarskjöld Center for Peace, Good Governance and Human Rights, the Peace Center, the Messengers of Peace training program, this Chair for Peace, Human Rights and Conflict Management at the Copperbelt University, as well as improvements at the crash site, including the building of a school there. All of these, I would like to commend all of those directly associated with the continuation and taking all of this to another level. In this regard, I received a copy of the book by Mr. Nassili entitled Crash Hopes Revived, an account of the peace mission that claimed the life of the second UN Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld when I was recently in Lusaka, and I want to commend this initiative. The cause for which the late UN Secretary General died remains as valid today as ever. Peace building, conflict management, violence-prone elections and their aftermath, societal fault lines across several nations, and urgent need for social cohesion in so many nations, all underscore the continuing threats faced by the world today. At the same time, the unemployment problem faced by our youth, especially in third world countries, makes them particularly vulnerable to violence. Hence the importance of getting them involved in peace-building efforts and the gambit of international peace and security. This is where the Messengers of Peace training program at the Mindolo Ecumenical Foundation, through empowering people to build a culture of peace, continues to remain valid. Indeed, the UN Security Council adoption of Resolution 2250 in December 2015 supports the involvement of young people as peace builders, That resolution essentially called on young people to be global citizens, raise their voices, and change the world. Thus, the nurturing of peace and enhancing the role of young people in these efforts is clearly a legitimate focus for the Lusaka commemoration and is laudable. Here, I would like to propose the establishment of a collaboration between the Dark Hamish Living Memorial Initiative and its component parts with the Angie Brooks International Center for Women's Empowerment, Leadership Development, International Peace and Security, of which I am the chair and is located in Liberia. The late Angie Brooks was Liberia's permanent representative to the United Nations and also the second woman and Africa's first woman president of the UN General Assembly. The center was established as a tribute to her in the wake of the 2009 International Colloquium on Women. The center, in honoring her, honors women in leadership in Africa and worldwide. The late Angie Brooks played a major role in the UN Trusteeship Council in overseeing a number of countries of trust territories. The center is committed to working closely with the youth in its program, while its flagship product, the Women's Situation Room, involves with international peace and security, a platform that introduces innovative approaches to mitigating violence before, during, and after elections. The Women's Situation Room mechanism comprises a series of activities focused on violence mitigation. It has been acknowledged by the UN Security Council as well as the African Union, and Madam President Johnson Sirleaf was requested to champion the room. At the level of the UN Security Council, the involvement of the youth as an integral part of international peace building is part and parcel of the Women's Situation Room. I close by recalling the observation of the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, his comment on what is happening today in his lecture entitled Dark Hamish and the 21st Century in Uppsala, Sweden on 6 September 2001 on the occasion of the observation of the 40th anniversary of the death of the late UN Secretary General. This is what Kofi Annan said, and I quote, "In Zambia too, which as you know was where he actually died, Hamish's death is commemorated annually. The Zambian government, together with your own UN system, has launched a living memorial which includes a program to educate young Africans as messengers of peace, as well as promoting a culture of peace. As a center for peace, good governance, and human rights, there could be no better way to commemorate him than promoting these ideas which he held so dear." End of quote, by the former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. I thank you and wish you a very successful commemoration. Thank you.